episode of the Media Boat Podcast, your weekly rundown where we talk movies, TV, music, and video games, but not necessarily in that order. My name is Mike. His name is Matt.
My name is Matt. His name is Mike. Thank you for joining us on the Media Boat Podcast this week. Today is April the 10th, 2026. This is episode 533. I didn't change the number, but I will right now. Thank you. And yeah, let's get right into this week's topics. Why don't we?
Yes, let's start where we always do with the music section. Start the music section with the Billboard. Start the Billboard with the Hot 100. And the hottest song in the land is Choosing Texas by Ella Langley.
Mhm.
At 2 is Swim by BTS. Coming in at 3, Man, I Need by Olivia Dean. At 4, I Just Might by Bruno Mars. And rounding out your top 5, Ordinary by Alex Warren.
Yep, everything kind of stayed where it was, except for Choosing Texas moving back to number one and Swim moving down to two.
As for your album, start your Billboard 200. At number 1 is Erarang by BTS. K-Pop Army Unite. At 2, Bully by Yeah. We'll talk about that Bully in a
Yeah, we
moment.
will,
At
unfortunately.
3, Hades, the album, not the game, or the Greek god, uh, or the town, uh, by Melanie Martinez. At 4, the problem himself, Morgan Wallen. And round out your top 5, ADL by Yeet, as kids like to say. If you like any of those albums, or one album in particular, we have new releases. Well, I guess it's now 2 albums in particular for that 200. We
Yeah.
have new releases, starting with Cruel World by Holly Humberstone. Super Bloom by Jesse Ware.
Where?
Yes, I did the head turn. Sorry for your audio listeners, that's a visual gag, which you're
Yeah.
watching on YouTube. We also have Hope and Fury by Joe Jackson. Not that Joe
I
Jackson.
don't think so, no.
There's also 10 Till Midnight by Snoop Dogg. Yes, the Olympic concierge himself, Snoop Dogg. We also have Camera Concert by Square Pusher. And last one that you have here, A Wave That Will Never Break by Woo Life.
Mhm.
But I think you're missing one.
Am I?
I believe so. I believe you are missing Dandelion by Ella Langley.
It wasn't on my list,
Well,
but
Ella Langley's not on anyone's list except for the Hot 100. You
yes,
know,
well,
the hottest songs in the land.
I don't know what to tell you. I go by a list and I type what's there.
All right. Well, seeing as you said type what's there, you
Yeah.
obviously typed Ye as the number 2 album.
Yeah, let me explain myself real quickly. I know we typically avoid talking about the artist formerly known as Kanye West. But this week there was a news story that I felt like, maybe is a little cathartic. So I felt like it was worth covering.
All right, let me put on my bib as we eat our comeuppance here.
Yeah,
Or
something
wait,
like that.
okay, let me
He
put
he
on
eats
Ye's
his.
bid as he
Yeah,
eats a
right.
little
Yeah.
crow. Probably more accurate.
Yeah, some humble pie, if you will.
Ooh, could go for some humble pie.
Sounds
As
good,
the
right? Like some
controversial,
boysenberry.
their words, also ours, Kanye West headlining, for some reason, still headlining, Wireless Festival in the UK has been canceled. Ba-ba. This, of course, is following not anything he said before in the past, but really more recently, the artist's denial of entry into the country due
Yes.
to
Due
the
to.
anti Semitic hate speech over the past few years.
Yeah.
That's according to a statement from the festival. Quote, The Home Office has withdrawn Yee's ETA, denying him entry into the United Kingdom. As a result, Wireless Festival is canceled, and refunds will be issued to all ticket holders. Close quote.
Yeah.
Now, this is very interesting because this is the last time, or this is the most recent time, Mr. formerly West, Kanye, has been canceled and let go as a headlining act.
Hmm.
Famously, a couple years ago, he was uh, booted and kind of left the
Yeah.
Coachella lineup, only to be replaced by The Weeknd, like a week prior. So my
It
question here is, what is The Weeknd doing that he can't just replace here again?
apparently it has more to do with the association with the fact that this company made I'll just call him Kanye. Kanye the headliner. So yeah, like I think they just decided, well, we're kind of done. Nobody's gonna care about this, so let's just shut the whole thing down. So yeah, their main event was gone, and they didn't know what else to do, so they just abandoned it completely instead of finding somebody to be its replacement. I think this is the right move. I think that it's good to see this guy finally get his comeuppance. Some people are probably thinking, oh, well, he issued that apology earlier. Well, apologies are one thing, actual actions are another, and he hasn't really done much to suggest that things have changed. So yeah, I don't blame the UK as a whole for saying, maybe don't come in. Maybe we don't want you. Um, and yeah, this is probably a good thing ultimately that this happened.
I mean, it does kind of suck that the other artists, assuming on this festival, aren't going to now perform their
I mean,
music.
some were already dropping in response to Ye's participation. So this was kind of a slow building thing for a little bit. Um, and yeah, so it just kind of culminated with this. But yeah, there were already some artists discussing not being on the roster anymore.
All right. Well, if he can't go to Wireless Festival, I guess that means you can now spend that money on Coachella, which is this weekend. The other big headlining news
Yep.
in music.
Of course,
Well, of course, it's
since
2 weekends, this weekend and
yes,
next weekend.
and of course, since we're ourselves and we don't have a spare $1 billion, we'll be enjoying Couchchella because it will be streaming yet again on YouTube.
Oh no, my spare couch cushion money recently went to some Olympic financing two
Oh
years from
yeah.
now.
Oh, I know. You guys went heavy on Olympic tickets. But we'll talk about that when it comes.
Well, yeah,
But
the
for
Olympics are
now,
still 2 years away.
yeah, exactly. For now, yeah, we'll just enjoy our YouTube streams without the dust of the desert.
Yes,
That starts
Couchella.
today, by the way. That's tonight.
Yep, the
Will
live
be,
streams as of this recording are
yes.
currently up. This it's ongoing all weekend because
Yeah.
we're in April. And what else
So
is
you
there
can
to do?
check that out after baseball.
Yep. And after another major sporting event happening
Eh,
this weekend.
yeah, maybe.
All right. Did you listen to anything?
Nope. I'm easy. Nope.
Well, that's unfortunate because I did listen to the album you do not have on new releases.
Okay.
Well, partially. I did listen to Dandelion by Ella Langley.
It's not written here, so you
Well, yeah,
know.
because I
Could have
didn't
been
really
me.
finish it. It's kind of a double album. It's 18 songs. It's an hour
Oh, okay.
long. I got through about six of them. It's
Okay.
super country. If
Yeah.
you like, and I mean like really like Choosing Texas and the country vibe that's bringing, you might like the rest of this album. If you like Choosing Texas because it's kind of like a mix of pop country, you're not going to really like the rest of this album.
That's interesting. I'll tell you something. I still have not heard what Choose in Texas sounds like. I have no idea. I've never heard it.
Well, I heard it because I listened to this album,
Yeah.
and that's why the only reason I heard it. And then I watched the music video. I was like, oh, this music video is kind of fun and sexy, and I get why people like it. But also, it's very
Hmm.
poppy too.
So, are you saying that, at least from what you've heard so far, that there's a reason why Choose in Texas is the lead single and that it's the big hit that it is?
Yes, and I think
Yeah.
there's a reason that this is a double album is because Ella Langley is not going to be putting out any more albums after this.
Wow, that's quite a dramatic thing to say about an album you have not finished yet.
It's very Yes, that is very dramatic.
Just saying.
So is choosing Texas as a song. It's very dramatic.
Well, I'll have to listen at least to choose in Texas finally and see what this is. What's up with this Ella
Uh,
Langley
it's okay, but according to the at least the song, she's choosing Texas for himself.
for himself?
Yes.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, listen to it.
I'm very confused.
He's leaving the man in Texas and going to Tennessee.
Wait, who is?
Ella.
Huh?
Yeah.
Wait, what? Wait, hold on.
Go ahead.
This whole time I thought Ella Langley was a woman.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, you confused me with pronouns just now.
No. Ella Langley is a woman. She brought
Yeah.
her man to Texas,
Oh.
and now she's going to leave
Oh,
Texas
and he
and
is
leave the man
choosing
behind
Texas. The
because he's
man is
choosing Texas
choosing
for himself.
Texas. Okay. I like we're having a discussion about what this song means like months into its run at number one. Everybody else is probably like, yeah, duh.
Now let me blow your mind with Ordinary by Alex Warren.
Yeah, I've heard that one before. Anyways, enough. All right.
Anyways, all right.
All right,
Enough
let's move on.
about music. Let's get into video games, where we start with
Yes,
new releases,
you do. Just a couple.
including Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream on the Switch.
Yep, you can play it on your Switch or Switch 2, but don't you dare live stream it. Don't do it. Don't
Yeah.
don't you do it. I see you about to do it. Don't.
And then we just talked about Hades, the album, but we also
Mm-hmm.
have Hades, the game, 2. Hades 2 coming to the PS5 and Xbox Series X. So for all of you who didn't get early access on the PC, and for all of you who didn't get it on the Switch, you can now have it on all console platforms. Well,
Yes, this
PS5 and Xbox Series X.
yeah, the Switch and Switch 2 console exclusivity window has ended. So yes, you can finally get it on PS5. Are you satisfied with your Switch version, or are you thinking about other options?
No, I'm satisfied with the Switch version.
Okay,
I like the able to run it up and down and run it back multiple times. I feel like I'm good where I am with the game. I do go back to it every now and then, but probably not
we'll,
as much because we'll have another game that we will talk about real shortly after
we'll talk
video
about it.
game news.
Yes, but first,
But first, speaking of the PlayStation, Sony has announced the Player Base, a new community program where players can win the opportunity to be scanned into PlayStation games. The player base, which will be available to players in select markets in North America, South America, Europe, Asia, South Africa specifically, and Australia. Lets players apply to be featured in select first party PlayStation games, starting with Gran Turismo. A game that hasn't had an official new release entry in about 6 years. Players can visit the player base website where they have to sign in with their PlayStation ID account and answer some questions about their experiences on PlayStation. Sony will then select a limited number of finalists who will take part in video interviews where they speak more about themselves and their connection to PlayStation. From these interviews, one applicant will be chosen to appear in Gran Turismo 7 as part of the player base, where they will appear for a limited time as an in game character portrait.
so the story goes on to say in specifics that this person will basically have a scanning day in LA where they will just be fully body scanned and put into the game with that technology. Um, do you think this is something people want?
I mean, it's more of like a lottery, like I am the chosen one kind of thing.
Would you
I
want to
also
be
wonder
a
if
player portrait in a game, personally?
I mean, I like having an avatar in the game, not necessarily myself. Although I do also wonder how much of this may be leading to a Gran Turismo 2 movie, because the first movie was also about a PlayStation specific contest surrounding Gran Turismo, and this is also a PlayStation centered contest featuring Gran Turismo.
Uh, I'm gonna say no, probably not. to your theory. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't think this is very appealing. Like just a player portrait, not even like a playable model. Like it seems like if they're going to do a full body scan, there's so much more you can do with that, right?
I mean,
Like,
what is this? One, two, three, four, five, possibly six winners, one from each market, flown out to Los Angeles to be scanned into the game.
yeah, well, I don't know. Just seems weird. I just don't know anybody who would want to actually be doing this, but maybe some PlayStation mega fan is out there. And also, the fact that they're branding this makes it seem like this is only the first time that they're going to do this. Like maybe there'll be future games. Because I think it would be more interesting if it wasn't Gran Turismo in a way. Like, for example, if it was like a Horizon game, what if they put you in like sci-fi clothes? Like, what if you're wearing like a helmet and you look cool?
Oh, you know
And
they're going to
like,
put you in a mocap suit if they're going to do any of that.
that's what I'm saying, though, is like I feel like there's more interesting genre of games than racing games set in real world for this idea.
Right. I feel like there's a reason they're doing Gran Turismo because you don't
Yeah.
really see the driver.
Well, in seven, there's this like cafe mechanic where you're like meeting people and having discussions with them in between races. So that's where apparently this character would show up. That's what I understand. But yeah, you're not wrong. Again, this isn't somebody you're controlling. So it's like not like I'm playing as myself. It's more like I'm talking to a person that looks like kind of like me, and the little portrait is kind of just me. I don't know. It's a weird choice.
I mean, can we just skip over all these multiple steps and just get to the hot PlayStation girl being scanned into the game?
What hot PlayStation girl? What are
I'm
you
sure
talking
she
about?
exists out there who plays Gran Turismo,
Oh,
and
you
they'll
mean
find her
just
through this contest.
some woman who is attractive that plays PlayStation games? I'm sure there's plenty of those.
Yeah, I would say, like, if you're, who would you rather scan, me or hot girl that I've
Sorry,
just created in my mind?
sorry, just the way you said it sounded like there was one you had in mind, and I'm like, who are you talking about?
Brie Larson, obviously.
Well, I mean, she's already been scanned into video games. I don't think that's a first for her. It sounds like you just want Brie Larson in Gran Turismo 7, which I mean is a separate thing.
If she's already the voice of Rosalina, there's no reason why she can't be in Gran Turismo 7.
I mean, yeah, maybe for all we know, we don't know what her contract looks like. Anyways, that's
Anyways,
that story.
yeah. It's not a Brie Larson story. It's a Gran
No,
Turismo story.
unrelated, but yes.
All right. Anyways, have you played anything?
I sure have. I played the same thing you have.
What? We've played the same game?
Yes, well, we talked about playing it last week, and sure enough, we both did.
Well,
I
it
have a
does help
little
that
bit
the
of
game is free.
yes, that does help. Turns out, although even the subscription thing at the top, like for the bundle, was like only $7, so like
Hmm.
that's basically free. But I did not actually do that. No, instead we checked out the Pokemon Champions, which currently is just on Switch. Later in the year, it is coming to mobile, and having played it now, I understand. Like, oh yeah, that's gonna happen. But yeah, Pokemon Champions is kind of their pitch for a modern version of the Pokemon Stadium idea, except a free-to-play competitive game. And how they've free-to-played it is that it's kind of gacha-esque, where once a day you have the ability to obtain a new Pokemon to put into your roster. And that's how you can build your teams of six, as you traditionally do in a Pokemon battling game. Otherwise, the battles are what you think they would be. They're traditional Pokemon battles, both single and double. You are matchmaking against strangers online, and with friend codes, can play against your friends. There's some other free to play trappings. There's like an in game currency where you can unlock clothing options for your trainer, which you know I went hog wild on first thing.
Yep.
Um, as well as items that you can attach for battles, and in a first for the series, the ability to increase your stats without having to get them from battles in a regular Pokemon game. So if that's confusing, think of a regular Pokemon game. When you beat a Pokemon, you see, oh, speed went up 2 points, defense went up one, etc., etc., etc. Here, you can spend some in-game currency to increase some stats a certain level, but you can only do it once if I'm to understand this mechanic correctly. You have like a limit of 66 points that you can distribute through all of your stats, but only that many. That's my interpretation of that mechanic.
Are you sure it wasn't just because you had 66 currency? Because it does
N-
count the currency.
No, because it does count the currency, it costs currency, but
Hmm.
it topped off at 66 notches I could move up total.
Okay.
And it did that for each Pokemon I did it for. So
Yeah,
I don't
so you
know
can
if
only order
that's
66 different abilities.
no, maybe don't do that one.
What?
Um, but
Don't
yeah,
generate
anyway,
around.
it makes it kind of neat. So that way, if you have a Pokemon that's like, this guy's defense sucks ass, you can be like, well, I'm going to compensate for that, put all these points in there, at least get up to like the 100 level where all the rest of the stats are. So it kind of fixes that issue about competitive Pokemon where you're not having to worry so much about bringing in somebody who has perfect stats regardless of level. They're scaling everybody up and they're giving you the option to give yourself a little bit of a kick in the pants if you need it. Um, the only weird thing here is how they're monetizing all of this. As you'd imagine, it's a free to play game, and so there is a real world currency part. There's also a, which they call the premium shop, I believe, is where you can buy those things. There's a battle pass where you can basically get all of it right away if you spend the money on it. And there's a monthly subscription, kind of like the trading card game, where you can get basically extra challenges, extra items, extra currency every month. So yeah, it's
Now, there's also a
kind of
yearly
that.
version of that as
Yeah.
well.
Well,
So you
yeah.
don't have to pay monthly, monthly, monthly. You could do the
No.
yearly pass
Yeah.
if you
So
want to spend, I think it's like $100 on it,
yeah, that's
120.
and that's where I think this can maybe be divisive and why I'm seeing kind of a mixed reaction to this because I think it's up to what you expected here. If you expected, oh, I'm gonna pay once and just be able to play Pokemon Stadium, that's not what this is. This is free to play. If you were expecting free to play hooks in it, then I think you'll largely be satisfied with this thing. You kind of get what you pay into it, as most free to play experiences are, but the basic experience is totally playable for free. It provides Pokemon for you. Like I said, that there's daily recruitments where they give you Pokemon for free. You kind of have to pay in-game currency to keep those Pokemon. You can rent them though for free for a brief period of time, which is neat.
Mhm.
So yeah, like there is a way to play this, as in all great free-to-play games, that you do not have to spend any money. It'll be a lesser experience, but it's there. Then the
Yeah,
last thing I want to talk about before we go
real
into
quickly,
it,
it's not $100. That's an over exaggeration. It's fifty
it's
dollars
$50. So
per year.
plus, yeah, per year. So in case people were wondering about, as I was, the Pokemon Home integration, that's also really interesting. So if you have Pokemon on Pokemon Home and you're not a lapsed subscriber like we are, you can have your Pokemon from Pokemon Home visit, is the term that they use, your Pokemon Champions experience. You can do this, I believe, anytime, and there is a limit
Mhm.
if you're not paying for the game of as many as your Pokemon box can hold. Your default box is only 30 to start with in Champions, so you can't bring over more than you can fit into that box. So if the game already has given you 10 Pokemon, you can only bring over 20, for example. That's how many I was able to bring over.
Mhm.
And it's kind of a limited experience right now because if you have a lot of Pokemon, like I do, I think I have 202 total in my box, in my home.
Mhm.
Um, it won't let you bring a lot of them over yet because I'm assuming they're not in the game yet. They're not in Champions. They probably haven't put all 1,000 Pokemon in it yet. They probably only made models for a certain amount, and thus there's ones that are restricted for moving right now. So yeah, I think eventually that'll change. I think eventually there'll be the ability to bring over your favorites. But as it stands right now, it's a really good start and interesting foundation for a game that, for most people, is going to give them what they want, which is a standardized platform for battling each other in Pokemon and a fun daily experience for raising the ranks in your ranked battles.
And that is, of course, if you like Pokemon battles and
Yeah.
strictly the Pokemon battles. If
Yes,
you
that's
like
it.
the ability of the Pokemon games to go out, adventure, find new Pokemon, capture, train them up on your own, you have to do that within the game. Pokemon Champions is strictly for battling, which I
Yeah.
can understand then why you only have 30 slots or you get 50 extra slots if you buy the extra pack.
Yeah.
So, because you're not going to be rotating through all 100 Pokemon or
No.
whatever that you have in your bank in your home.
Yeah.
You're really going to be using a handful of 15 to 20
Again, the
in
comparison, the real
yeah.
easy comparison is the trading card game. They've kind of not necessarily based it on that, but it feels like they came to the same conclusions both there and here, which is instead of making it about, I just want everything at once and I want to be able to have this very specific experience, they've decided instead to make it work in a general sense. So in this case, they really want you to pick a team and refine that team, train that team, pick like three team slots that are going to be the kind of Pokemon that you want to be in your matchups and just focus on it. And then the items give you more variety where like you can change up what they're holding. You can give them there's mega evolutions in this and in the future I believe there will be other kinds of
Mhm.
special stuff like Z moves, etc. But for now, Mega Evolutions is the focus. If you have, so they provide a bunch of Mega Evolution stones for you to attach and have Mega Evolved Pokemon in your team. Like for example, my Gyarados and my Dragonite right now in my flying team both have their Mega Stones, so they can be in their Mega Evolutions.
Right. So as well, let me ask this. Is this fun to play?
I think personally it is. I've had a lot of fun with it so far, just doing the regular battles in ranked mode. There's also going to be special online events that maybe will shake things up. I'm interested to see what they do with that along the way. So far, I'm having more fun with this than I was with the random matchmaking of Pokemon trading card game. I think trading card game, just the nature of the trading card game means it's a lot more luck. That game has so many coin flips that it just felt like over and over again I was losing for reasons that I could not control. Whereas here, I'm more familiar, I guess you could say, with the Pokemon battling meta because it's only had very small changes over the past 10 generations. And I generally understand how type matchups work. I generally understand physical versus special attacks. I more or less know how the status effects work, all that stuff. And so I have enough base knowledge where I'm like, yeah, I pretty much know the strategy here. I know when to switch out. I know like when to use these kind of moves and where. So yeah, I'm having a lot more fun and I'm winning more consistently in this than I ever was with the trading card game.
Now, are you specifically talking about the trading card game or the trading card game Pocket that
I'm
just came
specifically
out
talking
last
about
year?
Pocket here. That's what I've been comparing it to the whole time because
Okay.
that's another example of a free to play Pokemon experience that this is also that just instead of the cards, it's Pokemon battling like the video games.
Right. I just want to make sure we establish the difference because they
Yeah,
are two separate products that Pokemon
I
puts
know.
out.
You can assume that I'm talking about the mobile game and not the actual cards because nobody can actually get real cards anymore.
What do you mean? I see the line out of Target all the time.
And you also see them off the shelves.
All right. So, sounds like you're having a pretty good time with this then.
Yeah, how are you doing with it?
The exact opposite for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, because I like the adventuring that at least
Sure.
the most recent game comparing it to is ZA. The walking around,
Yeah.
the going and battling and leveling up. Here, it doesn't feel
Well,
like I'm leveling up. This here, it feels more like I'm entering a gym leader's arena
yes. Yeah.
and battling against other trainers.
Yes. That's this is what I was talking about is it's based on what your
Yeah.
expectations are. If you expected this to be something that it's not, of course you're going to be disappointed.
Well, no, I
What
want to
you're
say that
describing is not what they pitched this game as.
I know I'm not necessarily disappointed with it. It just seems very much go go go. Like they took the Pokemon battle system for like the champions,
Yeah.
the VGC championship,
Yeah.
found all the Pokemon that are mainly played during these tournaments. Sprinkle in a couple extras just for good measure, and that's your core base.
Yeah.
If your Pokemon, like your favorite Pokemon, Popius, for example, falls outside of that meta and the sprinkle, you're kind of SOL
For
on,
now.
yeah, for now,
Yeah.
on your favorite Pokemon being in there. And yeah, they're not gonna have all Pokemon in there. Most likely you're gonna have your fully evolved Pokemon in
Yeah.
here. I would have liked to see more of like a leveling up system, not just okay, here's for alligator. Like, why can't I start with Totodile in here and work my way up?
I mean, as for pre-evolved forms, so far I know that you can bring a Pikachu in as
Hmm.
well as a Raichu. So that's an example of something that's an under-evolved Pokemon you can bring over. But
Yeah,
yes.
but Pikachu's also like a staple and a face here.
But yeah, it's important to remember that this is kind of serving two purposes according to what they pitched. One is a more casual experience for people like
Hmm.
me who are not competitive players who just want a platform to play Pokemon battles on. But you're right. The other purpose that this game serves is to be a permanent replacement for the Pokemon VGC. This is going to be the platform in which like those battles are take place on. No longer will they take place in the engine of whatever the most recent game is. Like they were, for example, Scarlet and Violet up until this point.
Hmm.
That's no longer going to be the case. This is now going to be the meta. You're right. And yeah, they're going to have to make certain concessions for this, but I don't see why you can't do both, right? Like I don't see why you can't serve see what I'm going to do here. Two Pokemon Masters.
Yes.
I think you can do both. And I think that you can, I don't think it's going to be limited. Obviously, there's probably going to be rule hooks that you can change to make sure that everything you're doing in the VGC is VGC approved. But I think they're going to add more Pokemon down the line. I don't think they're going to be Pokemon that are never in this platform. That'd be insane. Like, I think there's ways to serve both of those populations. And like, that's why I referred to it as a foundation right now, because that's what it feels like. This is the start of something that is going to be a work in progress. And I do think that the experience that we've had with Pokemon Trading Card Game Mobile Pocket is a perfect example of that. It has gotten bigger as the months have gone on. And this will probably follow the same trajectory.
Yeah, it might be out there for someone. I don't think it's for me. I'll continue to play
Eh,
it every now and then, but I don't know
Yeah,
if it's
you're
just because it's on
right.
the Switch. Maybe when it comes to
Yeah.
mobile, I'll have more like luck affinity for it. But also
Yeah.
just the fact that you have ranked matches, and I know there are way
There are
better players
casual
out there,
matches too.
casual matches, but also like way better players out there who, for all intents and purposes, kind of dedicate their lives to training up their
Oh, yeah.
Pokemon and competing. And
I
it's like, oh,
did
not gonna go there.
I did the one I lost today was against a ringer. Like he came in swinging and doing like pro levels like strategies that I
Hmm.
recognize because I've watched a little bit of VGC every once in a while on YouTube.
Hmm.
So he came in and immediately laid down the stealth rock so I couldn't escape. Then of course he had like some sort of move that immediately made his speed faster than me. Oh yeah, no. There are
Trick
guys out
room.
there.
Yeah.
There are Poke assassins that are going to take you down pretty much immediately. But the same thing could be said about Pokemon trading card game Pocket, right? Every once in a while, you get match made with some guy who like has this insane deck that's going to take you out in three turns.
Yeah, and
Like
if you're
this is
not up with
just
the meta, then
yeah,
you're just gonna be SOL for
yeah.
that match.
But the fact that I played like 10 matches so far, and that's the only time that ran into that,
Hmm.
that's a good sign so far. And so I don't think it's going to be as much of an issue. But it all goes down to what you said. If you like the turn-based Pokemon battles, you'll probably have a fun time here. If you don't like turn-based Pokemon battles, this is not a game for you. I think that maybe it just boils down to that.
Also, maybe it just boils down to the entry, because with Pokemon Pocket, the entry was flat. Everyone started the same entry going into it.
Uh, I don't
Here,
know.
you have people who've built up their homes over generations of Pokemon games,
Yeah.
bringing them in
Well, within reason, right? Like I
within
said,
reason.
there are
Yes,
limits to that.
there are
And
limits to
they,
them.
yeah. But at the same time, though, like I don't think that I do think that there's enough tutorialization here that if you're coming in completely blind, you'll at least know the basics. Um, And let's be real, what are the odds of somebody downloading this that hasn't played at least a Pokemon game before? Pretty slim.
Hmm.
So, I mean, the game's been around for, oh yeah, 30 years.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that most people who are playing this will have played this kind of battle before.
Maybe ZA is probably with the dynamic battling system then.
You're probably not alone. There's probably a growing group of people now that like that real-time battle system better, and yeah, will not be into this kind of throwback system as much. I
Hmm.
think you're not wrong.
Yeah. All right. So that's Pokemon Champions then.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna
All right.
play more of this.
Tell me how it is. I mean, I'll jump in and out. I'm sure we'll battle at some point, but yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll exchange friend codes after the
Yes.
show here.
Give me your 26-digit friend code. All right. Let's move on then into television, where we always start with the
Yes,
Sports Quarter.
always.
And it is a tradition like no other, where apparently I say this every 3 weeks now,
Yeah, you do.
or at least for the past 3 weeks. Well, it's here. Rory McIlroy looks to defend his Masters title this weekend. But before that happens, we had the par three contest where Aaron Rai won that little family outing, which of course means he's not going to win the Masters.
Hmm.
Ongoing curse slash just kind of what happens is that if you win the par three contest, you typically don't end up winning the Masters.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, typically, no one has ever won both the par three contest and the Masters in the same week. Rory, defending his title, currently leads the field with, okay, I have -5 here, but that was when he started the day. He is currently at -12. He shot -7 today in the second outing.
Oh no.
The current projected cut is +3. Rory is currently 5 shots ahead. Wait, no. Yeah, 5 shots ahead of the next closest person. So we'll see if Rory can go the very elusive back-to-back titles.
Oh.
Or will that monkey come right back and mess him up on Saturday?
There's a monkey on the golf course? Who let him
Uh,
in there?
Rory always lets it in, except for last year where he was able to conquer it. But it's back for vengeance.
Okay.
All right. But yeah, the Masters is this weekend. Get your Augusta flags flying. Don't have any cell phones on the course.
I never do.
And don't forget to order yourself a pimento cheese sandwich.
I'll pass.
No, it's delicious. All right. Let's see here. Let's go on then. We are in April. It is draft month. Pittsburgh, we are 13 days away from you hosting the NFL draft, where the Raiders are still on the clock with the number one overall pick. Whether or not they pull a draft day and trade it away, we'll see. We are also in the middle of baseball season.
Yes.
And hey, do you know some teams are pretty good at baseball?
I've heard. Yes.
Yeah.
Not in
So,
the AL West, but everywhere else.
well, at least everyone in the National League is pretty
Hmm.
good, at
Yeah, they're
least
pretty
according to the
good.
standings, as every team in the National League has plus 500 record, except for the Giants, who for some reason were on opening day, and the Nationals, who
Yeah.
are currently at .33.
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh, I guess the Cubs lost earlier today, so they're now under
Oh, yeah.
500.
They're now. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, the Rockies also lost today, so they're also under 500. But yeah, uh, some teams are good, some teams are bad.
Yeah.
Most teams are still within 4 games of first place, but as such, with what, 2 weeks into baseball?
Yeah. Yeah. We got plenty of time for those numbers to change. But my question, of course, is who's hitting the ball the hardest?
Ah, yes, Mr. Big Bat himself, Mr. Big Thumper, Mr. Home Run Derby champion is currently slumming it. Cal Raleigh has yet to live to his potential.
No, sorry.
Again, also the Seattle Mariners have yet to live up to the
Hmm.
potential from last year.
Yeah, but who has been swinging the bat well?
Oh, it's definitely a who's who of your
Hmm.
top home run leaders. Has with 5 home runs so far in the season. We have your leader being Shay Langleyers,
Hmm.
Chase DeLauder, Jordan Walker, and Drake Baldwin.
See, I like this list, and I'll tell you why I like this list is because these are not names that you heard a lot of last year or the seasons prior to this, really. I mean, Langoliers and some of these other guys have been around,
Mhm.
but I like that early in the season we've seen some stepping up of some smaller names, and they're in it to win it. They're in it to make their names household going forward, and I love to see that. I love to see that vim and vigor. I love to see that fight. But you're right. Rowley's not the only big name that's been kind of disappointing so far this year. You don't see a lot of the big names on this list like Judge, like Otani. So yeah, there's a lot more baseball to play. I will say that, but it's interesting that we're getting such a mix of results so early in the season. We'll see how April goes.
Yeah, but it is interesting to see that two of these players, Langleyers and Walker, are both catchers.
That's true.
So they're kind
Yes,
of following in Raleigh steps
I do
or
think that.
squats.
Yeah, exactly. I do think that we're in an era right now where the old truth about catchers being like, s- uh, eighth, ninth in your lineup is no longer true. I think that they're moving up the ladder in hits and slugging percentage. I think you're going to see a lot more great catchers.
Mhm. But what you shouldn't see on a baseball field is slugging. Well, you should see slugging from a batter, but not slugging it from a batter to a pitcher. Wait, no. How do I want to phrase this? No fighting in baseball, Angels.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's really depends on who you thought started it.
Either way, 7 game suspension in the fight
Yes.
between
Yes.
the uh from the Angels and the Guardians.
No, it was
No,
the Braves. It was
Braves.
Brave
Yes.
pitcher Lopez versus, of course, Jorge Soler of
Hmm.
the Angels. So my understanding about how this broke down was Lopez hits Soler. He is hit by pitch.
Well, okay, no. First at bat,
Oh,
Soler hits a home run off of him.
yes, that happens
Second
first.
at
Yes,
bat,
he
Soler
gets
gets hit
beamed.
by a pitch.
Yeah, notably in the helmet, which is the
No,
place
arm.
that
The arm.
arm.
Inside
Okay,
arm.
well, not in the helmet, but
The third at bat
yeah,
was high towards his head.
yes, towards the helmet.
Yes. Just high way outside the strike zone.
Anyway, so at
And
that
Soler
point,
just stares at him like, you
well,
gonna throw me a pitch or what?
so here's the interesting tidbit of news I found out. So
Hmm.
during the Angels broadcast, the Angels field reporter, who we know as Erica, she was talking about the interview basically she did with Soler about the fight. Soler said that he had actually said something to Lopez before the stare down, and it was Lopez's response, like basically like everything's good, like trying to cool the tension. So Soler apparently was trying to not rile him up, but to calm it down and be like, let's move on from this. And apparently Lopez's response was aggressive. Not saying, of course, what that response was, but just that it was an aggressive response. And that's what prompted the stare down, which led to the charging the mound. So whatever Lopez said made Soler mad right after Soler was willing to basically let bygones be bygones.
Either way, both players received a 7 game suspension.
Yes.
Both players are currently appealing said suspension. So they will still be on the
Well,
roster.
so an update about that.
Oh, did it change?
Lopez's suspension actually what the appeal went through right away, and he did get his term lessened to only 5 games,
Okay.
which essentially leaves him basically the next time he would be on the rotation, anyways.
Hmm.
So, did he really get suspended? Not really, because he wouldn't be playing in those games either way.
Well, he wouldn't be
So,
starting
yes.
pitching those games anyways.
But meanwhile, Soler is still expected to have to serve the entire 7 day suspension.
Hmm.
So, is it fair? I'm not really sure, but here we are.
I mean, we'll just wait until Soler goes on the IL and then he'll start serving that suspension.
let's not let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
I'm just getting ahead of what the Angels usually do to their players.
Hey, the new coaching staff. Anything could happen.
All right. Well, let's move on then into some playoffs.
Playoffs.
Yes, the NBA season is ending in 2 days. The Western Conference is all set with the Suns, the Clippers, the Warriors, and the Trailblazers all going to be in the playoff berth rounds, meaning those four will be fighting for the last two spots to get into the official playoffs. As for the Eastern Conference, we've got a mixed bag. The Miami Heat are in the playoffs bracket, the playoff bound.
Hmm.
The Raptors, the Hawks, are currently sitting just above the line into the playoff spot. But the Magic, the 76ers, and the Hornets are currently underneath that line and will be playing with the Heat in the playoff berth rounds for those final two spots. But those five teams can switch at any point over the next 2 days
I
as
see.
the end of the season comes. Because they're all within 2 games of each other.
Okay.
Yep. And then the Oklahoma City Thunder, your defending champion, Oklahoma City Thunder, have
Hmm.
officially clinched the best record in the entire league. Currently sitting at 64 wins and 16 losses. That is well and above the next highest of the San Antonio Spurs at 61 games and 19 losses.
Okay.
So the Thunder, you got the best record, but doesn't mean shit if you don't get the ring again.
We'll see.
And lastly, in the NBA news, we had a little bit of a downer as your current points leader, your current 3-point runner-up leader, and your current assist runner-up leader, Luka Doncic, suffered a hamstring this past week.
Oh no.
He was in contention for the end of the season awards, possible MVP because he was in the top three categories. But with his hamstring, does it diminish his chances? Does it mean he doesn't fall out? Does he fall out of the amount of time played? Uh, Questions to be answered as we get closer to those end of the season awards. And if you are the NBA sphere, you will see a lot of people kind of jockeying for who does deserve that MVP award
Hmm.
because of games played, time played, and overall impact of the team.
I see.
Wemby.
You have your opinions already.
I have opinions. Doesn't necessarily mean they're right. But we also have the other winter sport, the NHL. That season ends the following week on the 16th, which actually, by the time we record next week, both these seasons will have officially ended. The Colorado Avalanche have clinched the President's Trophy for the best regular season record, currently sitting at 52 wins, 16 losses, and 10 losses in overtime, or, a total of 114 points. No one's going to catch them.
Yeah.
As for the playoffs, there's people playoff bound in every single conference, except for the Pacific Conference. Uh, Apparently, no one wants to pull away, or we're all just beating up on each other. Either way, no one has officially clinched, meaning that currently Edmonton Oilers, who sit at the top at 40 games and 90 points, could still technically miss the playoffs. Highly unlikely, but
But
technically and
possible.
mathematically, it is possible for them to miss the playoffs. And lastly, in sports news, it was here.
Yes.
Everyone had their one shining moment. On the women's side, it was number one UCLA defeating number one South Carolina. And
Yeah.
over on the men's side, it was number one Michigan defeating number two UConn. If you had either of those teams winning in your bracket, congratulations. You probably ended up winning your bracket because of those picks. Most people didn't have them.
Congratulations.
All right. But yeah. congratulations on your one shining moment. And as I do every year, watched it just for those 2.5 minutes.
Yep, those manly man tears.
Love it. All right.
All right.
That's all I have for. Oh, wait. Was it
Hmm?
this? Not necessarily sports news per se, but
Okay.
WWE.
That's not sports news.
What?
Nah, no, you don't need to cover that anymore.
Okay. Well,
When are you going to get into your AEW arc?
never.
Never. All right, fine. Well, no wrestling talk.
All right.
Moving on.
Moving on into TV news.
Yes, television news is next. And this, we're going to talk about our favorite sport, foreign investment in the entertainment industry. Of course, I'm lying. It's not our favorite sport. Paramount Skydance has received commitments of close to $24 billion to back its takeover of Warner Brothers Discovery from three Middle Eastern sovereign wealth funds. The one we knew of already, Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, PIF, agreed to provide about $10 billion to Paramount, with the state controlled funds of Qatar and Abu Dhabi providing the remaining $14 billion. Paramount's deal to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery, which has $111 billion of an enterprise value, is pending regulatory approvals, as you would imagine it would. Warner Brothers Discovery is set April 23rd for a special shareholders meeting to vote on the Paramount Skydance transaction. In December, Paramount said Chinese gaming and internet company Tencent, which had committed $1 billion to the Paramount Skydance bid, was no longer a financing partner because of the WBD board's, this is so wordy, concerns over foreign ownership. However, Tencent was back on board as an investor in the deal with fresh funding, Bloomberg News reported last month. It's funny how you can go back to doing business with certain companies once the government has given you the green flag again. What a concept. So, yeah, that's where everything stands. You now know where the money is coming from.
Well, part of the money. This is only, of course,
Yes.
24 billion of the $111 billion deal. But
Yeah.
with the rest being financed through both Paramount Skydance and, of course, Oracle slash the Ellisons.
Yeah. I mean, I
So
don't need to say much about this that we haven't already said, but I will say is that always remember that the money has to come from somewhere and the money has connotations to it depending on who's giving it and why. You might want to ask yourself, why would a foreign power want to influence with their cash an American media company? You might want to ask yourself those questions sometimes just when you think about this. That's all. That's all I'm going to say about it.
you don't need to ask. You just need to watch when the Amazing Race goes to Abu Dhabi in the next
For no
season.
reason. Yeah, it's like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Huh,
Well, they
no.
spent 2 days in Abu Dhabi and then fly to Qatar
Yeah,
for no reason other than to showcase the amazing race and airports and facilities that
yeah,
these countries now have.
yeah. I'm just not. I feel like the days where I can easily say like, oh, it's because of human rights violations, they're becoming extremely harder to say because of our own country's human rights violations get larger and larger every year. And yeah, so obviously we're no better than anybody else. But always consider where the money is coming from, regardless whether it's internal or external, I guess is what I will say.
As much as I would like to be better
Yeah,
than everybody
I would
else,
love that. I would really love to believe that, but I just don't. Not right
no.
now.
Now, the story does go on to say that it is a quarter of the total investment, meaning they only have
Hmm.
roughly 24 to 25% stake in the company. That being said, it is still a quarter of the company
Yeah.
being bought by a foreign investments.
Yes. Yeah. Again, consider the why. You
And
know what?
should slash eventually the company be broken up, what
Yeah.
parts will they take
Will
from
yeah,
it?
where would that come from? Where would that look like? Yeah. Um, you could almost say that this whole situation is very unfair. Can you tell me what else is unfair?
I mean, in general life as you look around at everything,
Uh-huh, yeah.
tired of doom
Um,
scrolling all the time.
I understand. So life is unfair, and then do you know who the boss of you is?
Not you, because you're not the boss of me. Then, now, forever. Wait, sorry, I'm still talking about wrestling there.
I guess so. No, but you watch something that's not wrestling. You watch a television show that I'm referencing here,
Yes, but there was a lot of wrestling of the cast on the show
I guess.
amongst each other.
Sure.
Malcolm in the Middle
Mm-hmm.
has gotten a revival
Yes.
because, life is still unfair. Sorry, colon, life is still
Yeah,
unfair.
that's what it's
The
called.
official title. Uh, did you watch this?
No, because fun fact about me, I literally never watched Malcolm in the Middle. I have no nostalgia for it. I don't know a single thing about it except for Frankie Muniz and Bryan Cranston. That's literally all I know. I don't know anything about it besides, I guess, ads that aired before and after The Simpsons.
That's
Like I
basically
literally
what it
don't,
was, yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I've never watched it. So no, I did not watch this reboot either.
Malcolm in the Middle was essentially the anti-sitcom.
Mhm. Mhm.
It takes the regular formula of a traditional family sitcom, turned into a single camera episodic events, and it's just a family that constantly is yelling and frustrated with each other, and no one's really happy in it. Surrounding,
Mhm.
of course, current race car driver now taking a back seat, pun intended, to return to acting, Frankie Muniz,
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
the proverbial driver's seat here. Pun definitely intended. As Malcolm going back to his family. This isn't a full series. This is 4 episode special. Really, it's Malcolm in the Middle, the movie, because it's about
Mhm.
2 hours, or
Split
yeah,
into
roughly, but split into
episodes.
4 episodes. As he deals with accepting who his family was, accepting that they were not perfect, and accepting that as imperfect as they were, made him into the successful man he is today, with all the unhingedness coming from it.
Yep.
There's a special time taken away, like you said, for Bryan Cranston because he is one of the other big parts and big names to come out of Malcolm Middle, where he goes on his own special trip, pun definitely intended there,
Ah,
down
I
memory
see.
lane.
Okay. Got it.
All in culmination of the parents' 40th wedding anniversary. And there's fighting, there's bickering. It's not supposed to be a happy-go-lucky family because Malcolm Middle was never about a happy family. It was all about how do you deal with your family and how do you be better than the family you're dealt with,
Mhm.
is essentially.
Okay.
It's 4 episodes. It runs fast. It feels like Malcolm in the Middle. It feels like, oh, we're right back where we were. Is that a good thing? Because it's a show that's now 20 years off air. Gives and takes. Some of it is like, oh, I like that we're here. And some of it is, why are you specifically here? Just because they're trying to throw in a bunch of nostalgic characters from the original
Right.
series into here. And it's like, okay, but why are you specifically here at the 40th wedding anniversary when you're specifically Malcolm's friends and not the parents' friends? A
Yeah.
lot of weird stuff like that, especially at
Don't
the
overthink
end.
it.
Yes,
Yeah.
don't overthink it. It's just don't think of it as the 40th anniversary, think of it as Malcolm in the Middle reunion. And it kind of flows a lot better under that frame of mind.
Yeah.
Some
All right.
hits, some misses.
Okay.
Overall, I think enjoyable.
Okay. So it sounds pretty similar to how you felt about the Scrubs revival, where it's just like it hits enough of the notes where you're pretty satisfied with what it used to be, but it's not, but it is kind of just that.
Yeah, but at least with here, it is 4 episodes, so you're in and you're out, and you can
Yeah.
binge it all real quickly. Whereas with the Scripts, I do like that it's continuing on and exploring a lot more areas.
Yeah. Well, they have more time to do it. Yeah.
Yes.
So makes sense. Okay. Cool. Yeah. That's about what I figured.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah, that's available right now out on Hulu and then Disney Plus if you have Hulu connected.
Cool. All right. All you watched.
That is all that I watched new.
Okay.
Um, Wait, something else happened. Oh, Hacks is
Yes.
currently back.
Yes. I was just going to mention that Christy jumped into the season premiere of that this morning. I was in the room. It seems like it's going to deliver on everything you want it to be.
Yep.
So you'll be happy.
Yes. Shrinking also ended.
Hmm.
There is going to be another season of Shrinking. Interesting to see how they're going to do that. It did get picked up, but the way it ended did really feel like a series finale. Do you really
Okay.
feel like we can end it here and everyone can go off and you can imagine what the rest would be like, similar to how Ted Lasso had a specific
Right.
ending, and you can imagine what the rest would be like.
Yeah.
Uh, Unfortunately, we are getting a new season, which means new conflict. The writers have said that with Shrinking, they want to take it into a new direction, see where else they can go with these characters, explore more range and options, which is, good for Jason Segel. He's
I
got
guess so. Yeah.
range and he's back to acting and not hiding away in his indie projects, which reminds me, he's also in a movie coming out in like a week.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Uh,
Good for him.
it's called Over Your Dead Body, directed by Yorma Tacoma
Aha.
of Lonely Island. So
I see.
yeah, he's out there. He's still doing stuff. But yeah, Shrinking is still really, really good, but also always gonna just slip right outside my five at the end of the year.
Hey,
Same
it's
thing
just
with
the fate
Hacks.
of having
It's
only
really
five.
good, but for some
Yeah.
reason it always slips outside of my top five.
All right.
And then, as I talked about last week, The Pit had its penultimate season or penultimate episode last night as I was recording, and I'll talk about the finale next week on The Pit.
All right. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, with that, let's move on into some cancellations and renewals.
What am I no longer watching?
You're no longer watching The Runarounds on Prime Video. That's been canceled after one season. You could say they gave it
Will they give it? Will they give it?
the runaround.
What did they give it? Oh,
The
okay.
runaround.
Okay.
The runaround. Anyway,
Well, you run around, I run around, we all run, run, run,
well,
run, run around.
runaround. All right. The Wizards Beyond Waverly Place, that's the reboot, is returning to Disney Plus for a third season, but that will be its last. So
They
ending
are
on that.
unsure if it's going to be a movie finale or a three-part finale.
All right.
We'll see when it arrives.
Stay tuned for that. Love on the Spectrum is returning to Netflix for a fifth season. Memory of a Killer will get a second season on Fox. Canada Shore will get a second season on Paramount Plus. And Rooster, which you talked about the previous weeks, is getting a second season on HBO.
Happy about that.
There you go. Not so happy is that we have to talk about one death this week, which we have Davy Lopez, age 80. Baseball player, played for the Dodgers and the Cubs, managed the Brewers, was a four-time All-Star, a two-time World Series champion, both in 1981 for the Dodgers and 2008 as the coach of the Phillies. So definitely a
One
storied
of
career.
one of a handful of baseball legends who won a World Series both as a player and as a coach.
Cool.
Now, technically, he wasn't a manager when he won. That's different tier, but still,
Sure. Yeah,
being a coach for a World Series champion doesn't come around all that often,
it's true. It's
unless
true.
you're on the Dodgers
Yeah,
or the
well,
Yankees
yeah, well, we don't need to talk about that. All right,
or the yes
let's move
or
on.
part 90 Dynasty.
Yeah, let's move on into the last section of the show, which is the movie section. And we always start this segment with the weekend box office numbers.
Oh, oh,
And as
oh.
predicted, your number one movie with a bullet was the Super Mario Galaxy movie. It
And
made
how much
100
did it win?
it made $131 million in the weekend, and then the 5 day total, its current domestic total, is 190, which, yes, is just above our prediction of 180, which means you get another point, and I go 500 after a good start
Hey,
to the year. So,
that is two in a row for me. I
two in a row
hope
for
it
you.
lasts.
We'll see. Coming in at number two, Project Hail Mary made another 31 million this week. That's at 218 million domestic. Number three, The Drama made $14 million in its debut. Number four, Hoppers, still around with 5.8 million this week. That's at 149. And rounding out your top five, number five is Reminders of Him, which made $2.2 million this week. That's sitting at 45. At number 6 was your other debut this week, A Great Awakening, which only made $2 million. All right. So, looking into this week's releases, we have two options for everyone. We have a film adaptation of Hamlet. Yes, that Hamlet, not Hamnet, not that one, just Hamlet.
Yeah, this one is
And
Riz Ahmed as
ah,
Hamlet.
yes, Riz Ahmed Hamlet. And You, Me, and Tuscany.
This is Reggae Jean Paul, or Reggae Jean Page, and Halle Bailey
Aha,
in a romantic romp through Tuscany.
got it. All right. Well, obviously, Super Mario repeats, right?
Now, I'm gonna throw a little curveball out there. We also have
Go for it.
Chow or Cha-O. I don't know. I'm not sure, but it's your anime release of the week.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. That is
Okay.
not competing here. No, your number one movie is going to be Mario again. We just need to figure out a number. So if we go 50% off of where we were last week, that's roughly 90 million. That itself also seems high. I don't know. What are you feeling about 90?
Well, even if you drop it to 60% over the
Okay,
following weekend, that's still gonna put it around 52.
52. Okay. So what if we settle here and pick 60 as a compromise? And then
Uh,
I'm gonna pick the over this time to steal it from you because I get to choose first.
all right, you can take the over. I'm saying it's gonna hit that 60% or more,
Okay.
which would put it at around 50 on the weekend.
All right. All right. Well, we'll see.
This is
We'll
not the
see. I
three
think
day. Now, one
no,
last
this is
curveball
just
here.
regular.
Yep,
Yes,
this is regular.
regular.
This is curveball, but there
Okay.
is a BTS World Tour live viewing happening this
Hmm.
weekend.
Mm. That's really reliant on how many theaters are participating, and I don't have that data. Also, you didn't include it in your roundup, which means that we couldn't have known until you just mentioned it.
Well, I'm just looking it up right now. So what else could be
Okay.
happening this weekend?
So
Because it
how
can't be
about
the only
this?
thing.
Maybe we have an asterisk where if that ends up being the number one because we didn't discuss it prior,
Yes.
no points are earned if that's the case. I think
Okay.
that's the fair way of doing
All
this.
right. The
Like,
BTS
because we
is
did not
lost.
know that it was a factor. If BTS is number one, we cannot issue points.
All right.
Yeah.
BTS, the possibilities.
Yeah. BTS colon possibility. Anyway, let's move on into movie news. But unfortunately, it's not good movie news. It's bad movie news, as the
Boo.
layoffs that we've been talking so much about in the video game section have trickled into the movies section
Yeah.
this week.
I don't want to ruin
And
your ears, but I do have a cowbell over here because the layoffs are coming. The layoffs are coming.
there sure are, as Disney is planning to lay off as many as 1,000 employees over the next few months. The first cuts to come from the entertainment giant since naming its new CEO, Josh Tomorrow. The company's global headcount stood at a bit more than 230,000 as of the end of the most recent fiscal year, with most of that being part time theme park workers. While the layoffs are noteworthy, they are a fraction of the size of the cuts overseen by former CEO Bob Iger when he rejoined the company. From 2023 to 2025, multiple rounds eliminated some 8,000 workers, achieving cost savings of $7.5 billion. The figure came in far higher than Disney's initial forecasts. This is typically what happens when a new CEO comes in. Unfortunately, new numbers are broken down, a new approach is maybe taken for their financials, and thus jobs are lost. It's an unfortunate thing that business owners do, and it sucks, but it's not like this was a surprise, that this was kind of always going to happen. And thank God that number is not higher. But 1,000 is still a huge chunk of people, and it is depressing to see regardless.
Yes,
So,
the report said that this is less than 1% of the company's headcount,
yeah.
but that's just because Disney it has a very, very huge, abnormally large headcount
Yeah,
than
that's why
other
they
companies.
specifically mention those part-time theme park workers because They are not, for example, protected by a union or protected by anything really, and so they're always the first to go. So that's a really unfortunate to see.
Mhm.
Next up in
But they're not
layoff
the only
news,
ones.
yes. Next up, layoff news takes us up the 5 freeway to Sony Pictures Entertainment, where they are restructuring their operations with plans for hundreds of layoffs across its film, TV, and corporate divisions. The layoffs, which are expected to result in a quote few hundred eliminations out of 12,000 employees that work for the organization globally, are now underway and expected to continue into the coming months. So yeah, not quite 100 or sorry, 1,000, which is good. At least this is a smaller number, but you still hate to see thousands of people. Again, this, unlike the Disney move, is not CEO related, but just fiscal year related. This is probably just turnover at the end of the fiscal. They again have recalculated things and decided that they need to let people go. Again, unfortunate, but business gonna business, capitalism gonna capitalism.
And hopefully they let go of whoever was in charge of the promotion for uh, mm, Sony Animation.
Oh, hmm, yeah. Hmm.
Hmm, hmm, hmm,
And
hmm.
then,
I don't know. I mean, they're promoting it over at McDonald's right now.
I mean, yeah, they're
So
doing
I
pretty
don't know
well
how many
actually.
Gene Hunter is out there.
Not enough.
Like after the fact, not prior. Like did not get a proper film release.
And then lastly,
K-pop.
yes, K-pop. You couldn't think of the word K-pop.
Well, no, 'cause we talked about BTS. That's all I wanted to say.
Not BTS this
That's not the
time. No,
BTS movie.
no, not yet. That's coming. Um, our last story then is also about jobs lost, but this time it's an entire office being shuttered. J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot banner is shuttering its Los Angeles office. The banner is expected to move its operation completely to New York. It is currently unknown how many staffers will be affected. This is interesting because isn't JJ LA native? Like, isn't he from the LA area? That's my assumption.
Yeah, and remember when Bad
Sad.
Robot was all pretty much everywhere and you couldn't escape it
Mm-hmm.
and it was just
Oh
pumping
yeah,
out money? And
yeah.
then
That was a long time ago.
The Force Awakens happened, and then the Rise of Skywalker happened,
Yeah.
and then J.J. Abrams couldn't get anything going pretty much after that.
I mean, it's not too long ago when we saw him wheeled out on the Game Awards to announce this project. He wasn't that like last December, this past December,
I
where
think so.
they brought him out to talk about the game that they were working on. So yeah, like I guess they're just not doing as much as maybe they used to. Maybe you're right. Where it just like this just didn't make sense to have multiple offices.
I mean, Bad Robot was supposed to be the big thing next to Amblin, and now it's
Yeah. Remember when we thought J.J. Abrams was the next Spielberg? Wasn't that funny?
yeah, I remember Super 8.
All right. That's it for movies. And that means, unless there's anything else to talk about, that was a quickie. That's it for the Media Boat podcast.
Yeah, just over an hour here. I did catch up on a movie. Well, I don't know if it's really catch up, more of like a movie I haven't seen in a really, really long time.
Okay.
I watched The Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, I've never seen it. That's on our
Really?
list.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, because the sequel's
The
coming
sequel
out
is
in
coming out.
May.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh,
Yep.
I should probably watch this. Also, HBO Max keeps saying it's here. Watch it.
There you go.
Get it prepared.
If we are talking about old movies, we also watched a pair of old movies. We went back to 2014, watched a couple of 2014 bangers. Christy had not seen the Lego movie, so we watched that.
Hmm.
And then we watched Whiplash, which neither of us had seen.
Oh, the
Those could not be,
14-day film production from Flipple.
yeah, those could not be any different, like any more different than they are, vibe wise, like tension wise, thematically. Yeah, I liked one more than the other. You could probably guess where I landed. But anyway, yeah. So that's what we did. But no new movies.
Yeah, nothing new here, and nothing new, I think, for a while. Well, we are getting to summer movie season, so
Yeah,
they
they're
are
coming.
coming.
They're coming. In the meantime, though, what's coming for us is another episode next week. But until then, you can watch our content all sorts of ways. You can go to YouTube, search Media Boat Podcast to find our channel, like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications when new videos go live. You can also listen to us in your ears and podcast services by searching Media Boat Podcast. We're on Blue Sky, search Media Boat there. And we're on twitch.tv/Media Boat sometimes when we're playing video games. And then last but definitely not least, if you want to email us questions, comments, feedback about the show, anything you want us to answer here on the recording, you can email us at mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com. With that, we'll be back next week for even more news and thoughts.
Yep. We'll be talking about the pit
Mm-hmm.
finale. We'll see if Rory can repeat at the Masters. We will know who will be in the playoffs for both NBA and NHL.
It's
All
true.
that and more next time.
All right, see you then.
All right, bye.
Goodbye.